hello. Good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are at watching this or whatever time of the day. I am Sandra Covington for all you guys first timers, but my friends, you guys all know me. I'm Sandra Covington. I am the wife of an over the road truck driver, and I am come on weekly to discuss with you guys what's going on with us, what's going on in the industry, sharing the life of the wife of a truck driver behind the scenes, and letting you guys know, hey, what's up on the up. I am the author of, I was trying to reach for the book there. I am the author of the Truck Driver's Wife Holding Down the Home Front, which is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and Walmart and Google and iTunes. It's out there, guys. You got to get it. You got to if you haven't got it yet, you got to get it. But I am the author of The Wife of an Overworked Truck Driver. My book is The Truck Driver's Wife Holding Down a Home Front. Kind of getting off track there. I come on weekly. We chat, we talk about. I answer questions about the life of the wife behind the scenes. As I always say, and you guys know that this life, it's not the norm. It's not the life, that I wish for anybody. And if I can share my experiences by us coming online and chatting and answering questions and going over, what is the day to day, I can, let you guys, those of you that are just now getting into the industry, spouses, partners, just to let you guys know this, what to expect. And not everything that happens to me or that's happened to us will happen to you, but hey, that's what I'm here. That's what we're here for. Remember always to comment, like, subscribe, comment, reach out, and it doesn't have to be an open comment. You can my email and the contact information's in there. You can just reach me directly, and just say, hey, look, you know what? And that's what most of them are doing. I get the little personal email about hey, can you answer this question, or how do you guys handle this? And sometimes I'll just message directly to the person. I don't even come on and talk about it because certain questions are a little personal, and I respect everybody's privacy on that. But hey, everybody, hi. Kind of got off track. Miss, hope you guys have had a blessed week. It has been uh, a roller coaster week of emotions. It is last weekend was Mother's Day. And for those of you who don't know, my mom passed on Mother's Day 3 years ago on Mother's Day. Granted, Mother's Day is kind of a different day every year based on Hallmark, but it is the day. It was that day that she did pass. So that day is always a little, a roller coaster for us, me and my siblings, and but we get through, and we all can get through that. It's rough, but you have your moment, and then you kind of snap out of it because those are angels above, and I call them our angels above that are watching over us. They want us to continue with life. They don't want us to mope, to be depressed. They want us to enjoy life and enjoy it abundantly. So that's what we do. That's what we do. I have my moment. Unfortunately, George wasn't home this weekend, and actually, I wasn't even home this weekend. I did something that I have never done before, and we'll cover that in a shortly. But he checked up on me. He knows how that is. I checked up on my siblings. We all were kind of little in our own little states and everything, but we all, we got through it. We had our moment. We had our cry, and we move forward. I do not believe that my mom, dad, my grandmothers, my aunts would wanted me to sit in the room and then pout all weekend because of I miss you. You miss a person. It's like I always say, and you guys know I always say, do not let Hallmark dictate your emotions and your emotions and thoughts. Uh, I grieve my mom every day. And we all grieve every day. It's not like just this one day or the birthday, holidays. This is the only day that we grieve. We grieve every day. So it's not just because that day, yeah, that day has a little emotional tie to it because that was the day that we actually had to call our family and let them know, that mom was no longer with us. But it's not, it wasn't a day that for that whole 24 hours, we mope. As I said, they do not want us to be depressed, to mope, enjoy life. They left us here. We grew from them, we learned from them. And I want to prove to my mom, my dad, my grandmothers, that, hey, look, what you guys taught me, I am using that in my day-to-day life, and I am going to live life the way you want me to live. And I try to get that to a lot of my friends that go through this day when that have lost their parents, and they're in that mode. Snap out of snap, and it's easier said than done, but snap and realize that they want you to be happy. They do not want us to sit here and mope. Have that moment. And those you guys know me, I say it all the time. If you got to go in the closet for a minute and have that moment, go in the closet, have that moment, but come out smiling. Come out with that whatever your go-to song is, and just and live life the way they would want you to live life. And they want us to live it in so much joy. And that's what we did this weekend. This weekend, I did my first girls trip. I have never done a girls trip before. I've heard so many horror stories. And you guys know where I work on the phones. I get those phone calls. I'm out on the party with my girls, and I need to change my flight because this got into argument, this got into. I did a girls trip this weekend and I went to New Orleans. New Orleans. And it was the best time ever. That Sunday, when I came home, I chatted with mom before I checked out of the hotel. I mean, it was great. And it was like, wow, I am actually in New Orleans having fun with four of the, well, there was four of us all together, but three of the most amazing women. And I actually, we're going to try to do this annually, but it was great. And that was something I wanted to do and I Mother's Day, and they're all mothers, so it was like something we want to do on Mother's Day, and because I didn't want to sit. I mean, yeah, we could have sat in the house and I could have dwelled all weekend, like boohoo, mom. And George is on the road. He's in Denver. We'll talk about that shortly. He's on the road. My sister and brother, they're in California. So we all weren't together, but we were together. We chatted with her and everything, but they want you to, again, enjoy life. Our ancestors and parents that are no longer here with us, they want us to live life. And you once you have that moment and live life, oh my God. It was so much fun, guys. I had never been for those of you that have been to New Orleans. Wow. Believe, and it was not Mardi Gras weekend or anything like that. And I beyond total crazy. I don't think I would ever want to go Mardi Gras weekend. This weekend we went, and maybe it was Mother's Day why it was so packed. It was packed. I mean, to me it was packed, and I'll share some of the photos and everything, but it was I mean, like 12 times Vegas packed. And it was just so much fun. And oh my God, I think one day, my friend Tisha that was with me, Tanisha, she said she did about 74,000 steps. And I couldn't get my step thing going, but I was walking with her, so I must have did about 75,000 steps also. But she did about that many steps, and I'm like, holy crap, we really walked. One moment, I am getting like text messages. Um, yeah, she did. So she did that. I walked with her. I must have did about 74,000 steps also. We walked and walked and walked. and walked and walked, and it was just, but it wasn't like a a a boring walk. It was just like, it was so energetic. There was just people and shops and people and for those of you who have never been, do not go to New Orleans thinking you're going to be all glammed in Hollywood and everything. No. You got the humidity. You need the comfortable tennis shoes. You need the thin, you want to dress in layers. You need the thin clothing. We were told that the weather said it might rain. I carried a Wayne jacket that I ordered on Amazon that I should just send back because it didn't need it. Because it didn't rain at all. It was just beautiful. Our hotel was about up a half a block over about 3 blocks from Bourbon Street. I mean, it was perfect. If I go, I'm staying at that hotel ever again. And actually, now that I remember, I need to go on there and do a review. But it was just the best weekend ever, and that was in tribute to mom. You know, it was just a tribute to mom. I got out and had fun. I did something that she would want me to do. Actually, if you guys know my parents, mom might have been a little more. Dad would have been go have fun, should have send me pictures and bring me something back. Mom would have been more like, oh, pay a little more on the soft side, on a little conservative side. But she would want the pictures and want me to bring her something back from New Orleans also. So it was like, be careful, but bring me something back. Dad would have like, hey, go have fun, but yeah, definitely bring me something back too. So, but it was fun, guys. Yeah, that weekend is a rough week for those of you, but again, I totally stress, live life the way they would want you to live, and that's what I do every day. I honor my ancestors, and I live life the way they raised me and the way that they would want me to live since they're not here. And I definitely stress that, totally stress that enough. So, for those of you that are mothers, happy Mother's Day. It's not something, mm, it's not, that I don't, I'm an auntie mommy, as my nephews say, but it's not something I will ever be able to do. It's not that I don't like when people say happy, Mother's Day, because I understand it's a term, but I don't correct you. I don't correct anybody. But for those of you that are, happy Mother's Day. I hope you guys had a blessed weekend. And I hope you were able to get all that you deserve. Now, we're going to move on. Let's see what else do we have to talk about. Inspections. Guys, inspection. Remember, this weekend, actually starting now, it's inspections out there. Check your trucks, check your tires, check your air brakes. Inspections are going on, and they're gonna hit you guys strong. And not that they don't hit you strong any other time, but they're gonna hit you strong. So definitely make sure all of your stuff is up to par. I really hate to hear the stories of our guys getting shut down for 10, 12, 13 hours and so forth because either the tire, the air link, or something is going on that you knew or you didn't know, and now that it's shut you down for an extended period of time to where either you're missing that low deadline and now you got to pay a fee because your drop's going to be late. Do your inspections, do your walkarounds because they're out there and they're gunning for you guys, and I really, 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 really don't want that to happen. So we got the inspections. So you definitely want to make sure that you're on top of your inspections. Oh, and also I got to look at my notes because my memory kind of goes sometime. Also, summertime is coming. And you know what summer means? Summer means hot highways, tires, tires, tires. So we have those hot highways and tires, tires, tires. So get those tires, and that goes in form with the inspection too. Remember, guys, there's 18 of them. And we actually had to do, it's been about two, maybe about 2.5 weeks. that we've had to replace a tire. And this past week, he was in Salt Lake, I think, or Washington, and we had to, another tire went. And I kind of wish maybe I could put a check mark on these tires or something to see which tire is which. I mean, he'll tell me it's like the cab, the trailer, the this, the inside, outside. Yeah, but to me, these tires are, I need to buy stock and rubber or something because these tires are just totally, they get you. And remember, there's freaking 18 of them. I think on the trailer, there's like two, four, six, eight, two, four, six, eight. I think there's like two, four, six, eight, 10. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look on that. But yeah, there's two, four, six, eight, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's what it is. On the trailer, there's two, four, six, eight, eight in the back, eight in the front, so that's 16, and then 17, 18. No, that's still not right. Anyway, now I'm curious. I'm gonna have to look that up because I thought it was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Anyway, there's 18 tires on there, and they, like I said, they all don't go at all time. But when I say the heat, we got the heat. The highways are hot. For those of you that are on that doing that desert, those desert drives from Cali to Arizona, Arizona to New Mexico. I thought I did that ringer off. Sorry about that, guys. Thought I turned that ringer off. That Highway 15, the 40 going into Nevada. Those highways get really hot, and I really thought I turned this on. It said ringer down, but this somehow they keep getting in there. But you got to watch those highways on the 15 and the 10 going into California, the 8 going into San Diego. Y- You don't want blowouts out there, so watch those tires. And those are the only ones that I know off the top of my head that are like that 110-degree hot, 120-degree hot. And I imagine back east, some of those highways get a little hot also. But you definitely watch your tires. Now, what is our question of the day? I'm just gonna flow into the question. Question of the day, and we may have to make this a two-parter because it comes up a lot. And it's that five-letter word, starts with a T, trust. I got a question the other day about from a lady that is getting, she's engaged to a driver, and they've had their ups and downs and arguments and so forth, and little trust issues. And the question was, how do I manage trust in our relationship? And just as on the other side note, also, George, oh, where George is at? George is in Denver. He unfortunately had to sit there for a day or two, a day and a half, and now he's on his way to Nevada. But while he was sitting for the day, he went to dinner with a couple of drivers that were sitting there too for a couple of days waiting on the loads. And they all got together and they went to Texas Roadhouse for dinner. And one of the drivers had their spouse with them. And it was, I think he said about three or four drivers and then the spouse, and they were talking, and the conversation came up about trust also. So when I was talking to him today, and he was like, well, what are you going to talk about? I said, well, actually, I got a question about trust. And he goes, you will not believe, at dinner last night, they asked us, the question came up from the spouse, the wife that was there with her husband, about trust, because I guess they've had some issues too, and that's why she's on the road with him, because they can't trust each other, and that's not good. You know, that's not good. And it's if you gotta do that extreme, then maybe you need to think about something else, because I don't think that's cool. So the question was, how do we handle trust? And I've got that question a lot in a lot of talks, chats that I've had. And next time George comes on, hey, we'll post the question to him so you can hear it directly from him also. And I've mentioned in the book a little bit also, and it's really each, and I think just, I mean, again, disclaimer, disclaimer. This is my view, my opinion of trust. For me, I think trust, it's a belief, it's a feeling, it's knowing that the other person would never do anything to hurt or harm you. That they always will always have your best intentions and best intentions and heart. It's to me it's kind of hard to really put into words, but it's not hard to say. Like I pulled up, and I have to get my phone because I pulled up the definition of trust, and it was really weird because I was writing it down, and the keyword I wrote on my little note was belief. That I believe that, that this person will never do anything to hurt or harm us, the relationship, me personally, and I believe that this person has my is respectful of our relationship and us. And it's, but when I pulled it up online to get the definition, it said a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, and strength of someone or something. And it was just, wow, okay, well, at least I got one of the words in there, belief. And it, trust to me, it's that feeling. If you feel that there is something not right there, as I won't say a woman's intuition, but ask some questions. Ask some questions. And our industry is trust is a little, well, no, it's not. I'm gonna erase that because I'm gonna go on to say trust in any relationship, whether the person is not, or it has to be a two-way. You 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 have to be able to believe in that relationship, believe in that the love, believe in the faith. And if all of that is broken, if those four walls, if one of them gets broken or damaged, then because the trust has been broken, it's it's really, I think it's really hard to come back from that. And just because a person is away does not mean they're less trustful, if that's a word, of someone that's laying next to you. Because you always get those questions. Well, do you think they're out there doing something? Do you think they're cheating, adultery, or something? And I've said this in another chat. Is that a relationship? No, not a relationship. A career, a job, does not make you an adulterer. Does not make you cheat. The person laying right next to you that's home every night, they can treat just as well as the person that's on the road. And most of the few, some friends that I've held, or conversations or chats that I've had with women, they weren't even on the, they were home every night, the situations that they have. So the industry does not make a person non-trustworthy. It's in the person. And if they don't want the relationship, then unfortunately, it's sad, that they would do that. And you have to have that four walls of trust, that four walls of faith, that four walls of belief, that you can trust this person and they do have your best intentions. And I'm not sure how to explain it, but I can say that you know what you know. And if you are in a relationship and you feel, always go with your gut feeling. And then of course if you get your evidence and all that stuff too. But if you have a feeling that something's just not right, just ask. Sit down and have a conversation. Just ask the person. And if they say that no, you're wrong, then that you're picking up the wrong vibes, then you're like, okay, cool. I mean, I'm gonna trust what you said until I, but if that feeling stays, My tip is now you want to start getting your little documentation so that way if you are in a marriage and you need to sit down and say, okay, hey, look, we talked about a month ago. You said that this was not, that everything I could trust you. However, I got this. This says something different. We really need to talk because now you've lied to me. And now that is even more than trust. That lie, you can't take it back. So, um, I'm not sure if I'm really answering the question. I really hope I am a little bit, guys, but it, it's that feeling, that you get. And if you really truly have a suspicion that something, and it doesn't even have to be infidelity, it could be finances. It can be anything. It could be like, hey, um, you know, there, where's all the money? Where's the money going? I thought you got paid here, but there's nothing in the thing and the bill and this came. There's a lot of different avenues to trust and everything, but definitely you want to you trust to me comes back to me the communication. And if you have any type of suspicion or any thoughts that something's not right, and it doesn't have to be, I know we were talking about trust, but it can be a lie. It could be anything. You got to talk. You really need to talk. And like I said, if you sit down and have that talk and they say that no, it's not what you think it is, okay, we talked. But if you have a feeling that feeling in your head that, next week it's still, now you start getting your documentation. Now you start like, okay, before I bring it back to the table again, or before we sit down and have that family meeting, I'm going to come with this because something's not right here. And if we're going to continue this, relationship, and we're going to try to continue this trust that we have to keep these four walls strong, we really need to sit down and chat about it. And I'm not. Maybe that's something. I think the lady that sent me the question, I tried to answer it here, but I'll send you a, like a personal thing, and like, hey, we'll talk, because it's not. I don't want to make it even more confusing than what it is, but you have to believe and trust and step and believe that this person has that your best interest at heart, and that they would do anything to not disrupt the family, that they love you and respect you enough that they would not disrupt or um, break the bond that you have. And I believe that with my guy. I truly believe that with my guy. And we've had talks. We have had a lot of talks, but it's not the talks about us, as far as our the trust in our relationship. It's just it's talks about where are you at? Where am I? Every year on our anniversary, we sit down and we have a talk. And sometimes we don't even wait till our anniversary. But we have a talk every year when if we're at the dinner, home or restaurant, wherever, we sit down and we have a talk. We talk about the past year, what we felt we got out of it, what we didn't get out of it, if there was a plan that we set that we did not accomplish, what we need, if do we want to continue this into the next year, or do we want to just table it and put it aside. We talk about on our anniversary, is there anything that happened over this past year that you want to talk about? Is there any, because when you're on these anniversary birth dates, or New Year's Eve or whatever, when you're going into a new year or a new beginning, and it doesn't have to wait to that Hallmark, anniversary day. It can be like, hey, tomorrow we're going to have a talk about something and we're going to start fresh. This is the first day of our rest of our life, that thing, that speech. But, on our anniversary, we just started a trend where we have the talk. And it's like, is there anything that you want to talk about last year, this past year that we're not going to take into our next year, and those are the communication, the chats that we have. And then was like, okay, are we planning an anniversary party? Are we going to do what, are we going to get together with some friends? So you want to have that bond, that communication. And that if you got that communication, then that's where that trust falls in. And then that's where you can the lie, you won't have the lie. It's like a domino with all that stuff. And once those four walls, those four walls, and it doesn't have to be your house, it just be I believe in those four walls. Once one of those four walls is down, and it's really hard to build it back up again. And you want to get it before it gets to that stage. And that's where that communication comes from. That's where the communication comes from. That you can, if you ever have a feeling and you want to talk to that person, you got to do it. You don't wait and let it fester, that like, oh, it's building up. Oh, dang, he didn't answer the phone. I called 3 or 4 times. He did not answer the phone. I bet he's, he did this, or he said he was at this stop and he's not, and he's at this spot. He's not. You want to get it before it gets to that fester, and that's where the communication comes in at. And I'm really trying to answer that question, and I'm not sure if I did, and I apologize. But you really want to answer that question. You really want to get that bond of communication in. Um, it it helps. Oh, last night, guys. Okay, I'm gonna, ma'am, I'm gonna reach out to you directly about the question on trust, because I really hope I answered it. But I want, since you're new getting into the industry and your fiance, you guys are just now getting into it. I I want to share, and I want to be that level of support for you when going through this. So I will definitely reach out directly in the next, tomorrow with you guys. Uh, Thank you guys again. I really hope I didn't confuse. I try not to come on here and confuse, but sometimes it sounds good and here, but then when you put it out there, and then sometimes some questions is just we all handle them differently, and mine some I just can't explain them sometimes. Will tell you, last night when George was out at dinner with those drivers, he sent me a text. Well, first, before he reached out and he said, "Hey, believe it or not, I'm going out to dinner, with some drivers." And I'm like, "Whoa, this is just totally not you, which me, that girls trip, we totally not me." And he's like, "I'm going out to dinner with some drivers." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Have fun, play with your new friends." And then about an hour later, he sent me a text. He said, "You okay?" I text back. I said, "Yes, I'm okay. You okay?" He didn't respond. So then about 30 minutes or so later, I still hadn't heard anything. So I'm like, okay, like, okay, dinner, we should be wrapping it up. So then I it was about 8:30. Last I heard from him was about 6. So I'm just sitting there like, okay, I'm gonna give him a little, I'm gonna reach out again, just want to make sure you're okay. Everything's all right. Still didn't hear from him. So now I'm starting to get, okay, a little like, okay, dude, you should kind of, it's been like 2.5 hours. You should be kind of be back, or at least reach out, text and say, hey, yeah, I'm good. Did not hear from him. So I said, okay, I'm gonna give him till 9 o'clock. It was like, so I got our board, our logbook out, and the electronic logbook, you can go on there and see exactly where your vehicle is at. So I got that ready. I said, okay, I got the address of where the vehicle is at. I did an expand of the restaurant. There was an Olive Garden and the Texas Roadhouse. So, okay, so they can't be too far. They're either at one of these. And then I sent him a text and I said, all right, you have until 9 o'clock or I'm going to call the Popo for a wellness check. And now I get a bunch of emojis. Ha, 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 yeah. Ha, ha, ha. So then about a few minutes later, he called me back and he was in the truck. He was like, "Hey," he goes, "You are a nut." I'm like, I didn't know. Just like I was out with the girls and you were checking in on me on Bourbon Street, I'm just checking in on you too. People are. I didn't know. He was like, "Oh, we're good. I'm back in the truck. Let me do my little wash up and everything, and I'll call you back." I'm like, "Okay, we're good." So, but that's my little joke of the day. We can definitely we can find them. We need to find them, and it's always good to kind of know where they're at, just in case if anything happens. You can, like I said, you can call the popo and be like, "Hey, my driver, my husband's spouse is at this location. I haven't heard from him. Can we?" Or you can call the truck stop and ask them to go out there to the truck, and the manager give them the truck number. They'll knock on the door and check on them for you. That it's a community out there, and they look out for each other. Well, guys, I just got in on my second day off, running some errands, which I normally don't do. As I told you, I do that on my first day. But anyway, just got in to run into a couple of errands. Just remember, oh, this weekend, if you're in the Buckeye area, you can check out on the Facebook page that I am doing a speaking at a women's brunch on Saturday, at this women's brunch in Buckeye. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome to speak with some ladies and share my experience as the wife of a truck driver and what we go through on the road and make some connections and meet some new friends. Thank you guys again for stopping in and listening. We are still working on that part. I haven't had a moment to go get that part painted and so forth, but that's still in the works. And there's a lot of little stuff. Remember, a lighter load is in LLC is in the works, and I've been trying to put it in the comments, but I'm not having any luck. I need to just slow down and do it. But thank you, thank you guys for all of your love, your support, your comments, your subscribing, and I am here to answer any questions. And I'm not trying to confuse anymore, but I am definitely going to reach out to you directly, and we're going to talk a little bit more. And I'm always a listening and sounding board for anyone in the industry. Again, I always say this is not the norm, but we're going to get through it. And if you really, truly, wholeheartedly wants it, we're gonna get through it. So thank you guys so much for stopping in today. We went a little bit over, but it's okay. It's always good to sit in and chat. I just got in, so now it's time to get my dinner ready and catch up on some tunes. Have a blessed day, guys. Love you. Smooches.